know by now, many non-essential businesses in Texas will be opening back up in a limited capacity on Friday. The list includes shopping malls, movie theaters, and restaurants. However, strict occupancy requirements of 25% will be in place for at least the first 2 weeks. And it was also announced today that the Corpus Christi Catholic Diocese will resume public masses on May 9th and 10th at all Catholic churches all across the coastal bend. Parishioners will be kept at least 6 feet apart, and local priests, we're told, will be working out the details over the next week on just how to do that.